concussions are a rising concern in all levels of sport today. We spoke with a couple of athletic trainers here at UWL about how they affect student athletes on campus.
Protocol-wise, like anytime anybody's suspected of having a concussion, whether it be something that we actually saw or what a coach saw or something that gets reported back to us, we immediately remove them from participation for the rest of that day. We then run every single one of our athletes through a standard assessment of concussion or a SAC test. From there, they either fall into a 4-step protocol or a 7-step protocol based on if we have the impact test on them or not, but none of that gets initiated till their symptoms have gone to basically zero. And then any of our athletes, whether they go through that 4-step or the 7-step, have to get a physician to officially clear them before we'll allow them to return back to participation.
We utilize those other medical providers in our network, the Student Health Center, Gunderson Mayo, to help guide us in our care. As far as how long do they need to be out, do they need to have time off from classes, do they need to be medicated, are there other strategies that we need to utilize to help people.
Mr. Wagner went on to explain that concussions aren't just for athletes on campus.
Club sports, at least, is under a different umbrella. They're housed underneath the Student Health Center. In a place that has real winter with ice on the ground, folks get concussed slipping on the ice.
Athletes are well aware of the hazards that concussions may bring. However, some still attempt to fail the baseline tests in order to return to the field sooner. Luckily, the tests have also gotten smarter.
Still encounter folks that try to sandbag on the test, and the tests are better now that we've got a greater an N or a bigger cohort or group of people that have taken the test, that we have a better idea of where folks should fall on it if they're doing their best effort. And so within the process of taking the tests, there are folks that get flagged.
I think we're on the forefront of it. I think our coaches here help us a lot because they're aware of it and they understand the seriousness of it, and they don't want to, put a kid's mind and his brain at risk. I know there's been other times where a coach has come over and told me, hey, I pulled this guy, he took a hit, didn't look right getting up. He didn't look anything different to us, but something was off to that coach, and I think that's a huge step and something great that we have here.
One final concern for athletic trainers at UWL have been when dealing with student athletes believing that their equipment is safer than they actually are, especially on the football field.
I think we're kind of coming full circle to that. I think initially that was a big concern, that folks were using their heads as weapons, and I think people are acting hopefully a little bit more responsibly.
Yeah, I think the bigger things are, talking about form tackling and doing it the proper way, all the penalties for targeting and, leading with your head. I think that's probably something that's going to make a bigger effect.
Helmets do what helmets are intended to do very well, and that's protect from skull fracture.
There's no such thing as a concussion-proof helmet. It doesn't exist.
For WMCM Sports, this has been Josh Gaspard, Greg Hill, and Evan Barrett.